And welcome to Friends of the Show Clip Show Special Series Edition. This is, of course, the series of episodes where me and a very special co-host go back and listen to clips from past episodes and catch up. And my co-host this week is none other than fellow podcaster, noble Englishman, Tom, a.k.a. at Trojan Sauce.
If I could do air horn noises, I would be doing them right now to introduce myself, like rap air horns, that sort of thing.
That's perfect.
Yes.
So, Tom,
you can do it.
Welcome. He's a very lovely bloke from online, very funny, and has his own podcast called Interested in Music. And it's Tom talking to other great fun Twitter friends about their favorite music, and it's great. And he's great, so check it out and welcome, Tom.
Thank you for having me back. It's been a long journey to get to the old Canada. The flight was challenging. The maple everywhere.
Yeah, everything is covered in maple.
Walk. I got stuck to the sidewalk. It was terrible.
Yeah, ask Todd about it. Ask even Travis, Professor Hinckley, ask him about it.
The streets are paved with syrup.
That's right. So let's catch up. How you been? What have you been up to? I've
been all right. You know, it's been a long time since we did this. It's like 18 months ago, maybe. Is it that long?
Yeah,
Probably
that's what Jess was saying. Like, because she was the very first one, so that's even like further back. And yeah, it's been a very long time. Great to hear you.
Since then, what have I done? I guess you already mentioned, I just started doing my own podcast because, you know, I'm from the internet and I'm a white man. So it's like rite of passage.
Sort of standard issue. Yeah.
Exactly. You got to do it. Otherwise, all the other white guys will kick you out of the club. And I moved house.
That's a big one. Did you make it okay? Did you lose anything?
I didn't really have anything to take with me, to be honest.
Okay.
But I got a lot of new stuff, which was nice. And I am currently laying on my couch, stroking my dog's face.
Oh, that's so nice. So so now you're all set up.
I'm not sure if she likes it, but yeah, you know.
Trust me, they like it. I was doing it to Griffin, my dog, just earlier today, and you know, if he didn't like it, they would like go away.
That's true. I like Griffin. It's such a good dog name as well. You crushed it in the dog name stakes.
It's a good name. It's a good name. Actually, we got lucky because it's the mascot for mine and my wife's alma mater, University of Guelph.
I think I've heard you talk about this.
Yeah, so not only is it a great name, it's got like it's a great connection in history.
Nice, there you go.
So so you've been out. So you moved house. That's great. In your new digs right now, and you're loving it.
Sure am. Yeah, I mean it's good. I want to move again now. To be honest, I've visited Seattle a couple of times. Once right before we last spoke, and then once again this September just gone, and I love it there, and I want to move and live there. But here's the crazy thing about America, that you might not know this, but they don't like to make it easy for people who are not from there to live there.
Especially in 2018. If you're listening in the far future, 2018, pretty rough go for the immigration scene.
It's weird. It's all turned around, and I'm trying to be an immigrant, and bloody Americans.
Best of luck to you. That's exciting. That would be that would be like life changing.
It would be quite life changing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm hoping it will happen next year. We shall see how it goes, but.
So you've submitted the paperwork. You got all your forms filled out and everything. I mean, it's a lot of forms.
It's not even that easy. You can't even do your own forms. You need an American to do them for you.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So I need to get a job first. So that's.
Yeah, you have to secure employment. There has to be a valid reason why they pick you instead of an American to do this job too, right? Like you have to be extra special in some way to merit coming over.
I'm hoping that they'll be like, oh no, I know him off the internet, and they'll be like, oh okay, cool, yeah.
Oh, that's that guy from Twitter. Oh, he's cool.
He's that gorilla from off the internet, remember?
Yeah, remember he was on that podcast. Remember he's on everyone's favorite podcast.
Exactly. Well, he can host it from here, he can have more guests, he can recruit some staff. That's the goal.
It's tough. I did go through that process. Like I got the visa and I worked there in Palm Springs in California in USA. And at that time, early 2000s, it had gotten a lot tighter, but it wasn't like it is today where it's like absolutely next level. And mine was more like a student thing, and it was temporary, and we had people vouching for us, so it was all pretty like straightforward and easy for me. But as just like a guy trying to go over, I can see how it would be much, much tougher, especially in today's day and age. Wishing you the best of luck. I'll call all my contacts We'll get some
Pull some strings.
we'll pull some strings. We'll get a letter writing campaign going.
That's it. We'll crowdfund it.
It all adds up. The goodwill of the people will get you over to the States. Well, that's good. We'll keep people appraised of your journey as it happens. And yeah, I hope you get to go there. So any reason specifically Seattle, like the West Coast? Got
I think
your friends there?
You know when you go to a place, and I'm sure you've had this. You've been places before. You know when you go to a place and you just walk out and you just instantly feel at home. You know, I when I went to the States last year, I had a bit of a rough time when I was in New York. It wasn't the experience I hoped it would be, and I got off the plane in Seattle and everything was better, and I was like, yeah, I like it here. So I went back in September and it was better again. And you know, it's just one of those things. The place clicks with me. It feels good. I feel at home there. So
it's the same general
home,
vibe maybe as your whatever village you're currently from, maybe, right? It seems like it's more of a little English style, like the weather is rainy.
Yeah, it's really, sort of this temperate. Is the thing, right? It's similar, but it's also like, from what I've experienced so far, which is pretty limited, is like when it's cold, it is much colder, and when it is hot, it is much hotter. But generally, it's like kind of a more extreme weather version of England, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. Nice.
Yeah, it won't be too much of a transition. Just those cold nights, you need the extra layer, but other than that, you'll be cool. You'll be cool with the rain all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love a bit of rain. Used to it. You gotta like it from here.
I know. I noticed that when I was in England, that a lot of people sort of like took pride in like embracing the rain. Like, yeah, it's raining. Exactly. I love it.
Yeah, the
like
weather's bad, but it's ours, and we're the only ones allowed to slag it off. If anyone says anything bad about our weather, oh god, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's a stereotype you don't like, right? What are the other British stereotypes that you hate?
I mean, you know, the tea drinking, right? I love some tea, but we drink coffee too. I think people forget that we can spread our wings and do a bit more.
Right.
Also, I think, you know, the one thing that really bothers me is the teeth thing.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. That's what I was thinking would be at the top of the list.
Yeah, I was trying to think through things, and I want to build up to it, but the teeth one is
top of the list. Yeah.
I was, you know, when I first went over to America, I was quite paranoid about my teeth, and like, they're pretty straight, they're good. They're all right.
Fine.
I was like, man, don't show your teeth. They'll know where you're from. And I'm like, yeah, it's not my fave, but it's all right. I can buck the trend.
Yeah, buck the trend. Is there any other one? The tea one is fine. I mean, like, you guys have a tea time. A lot of people, it's like sort of a cultural thing, like that just the Americans don't have, right?
I'll take it back. I think, yeah, okay.
It's like in Mexico, they have like a siesta, right? Like in the early afternoon, the heat of the day. The town, like,
tea time is fast.
Yeah, it's a British siesta.
Everyone sits down.
Everyone has a little tiny sandwich with the crust cut off.
Yeah,
I was there. I served the sandwiches with the crust cut off. I did it. I know about the tea time.
You're a pro. You know more about it than I do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure it's not everybody. Just like it's not everybody probably taking a siesta in Mexico, you know? But it's like a certain section of society, like every single day without fail. Catch me at 4 o'clock or whatever. Yeah. Getting my tea.
Do you get the same for Canada though, right? You can't all play hockey and drink maple syrup.
No. Yeah, no, and we're pretty diverse, but like we take pride in those the fact that everyone thinks that we all play hockey and drink maple syrup, and like it's snowing all the time, and what are the other ones? Raccoons? We do have raccoons. That's a good one.
Nice. We don't have them, and so I was this afternoon. I was at my mum and dad's house, and my mum's friend was there, and she was saying how they went to the States and they was driving through Florida, and she got really excited because she saw a raccoon on the side of the street. And I'm like, that is pretty cool. I've never seen one in person.
I mean, yeah. If it's like something that you don't see all the time, you're going to be excited to see it, right? Especially if it's like a wild animal.
Yeah. It's weird. The wildlife being different is strange.
Like squirrels? A lot of people are amazed by squirrels, though. Those people who come from continents where there aren't squirrels. And here there's squirrels everywhere. Like I can look outside right now and there's a squirrel in my tree. I can understand if you never had seen one and all of a sudden
if you've never seen one before,
everywhere.
Yeah.
Then it's a little bit nuts.
Do you have bears where you are? Or is that more like wilderness for you?
Yeah, there's a few bears around, but I'm sort of like a little bit out of the city, more of like on an escarpment, where there's like more nature areas. It's like blocks of nature as opposed to more in the urban centers. But yeah, it's more if you go north, because Ontario is gigantic. So if you go sort of like midway up from Ontario, that's where all the good wildlife is at. We got bears, we got moose, we got Canada geese.
It's the whole roll call.
Set of them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice. All right, Tom. Cool. Well, now I think we're all caught up. Oh, wait, I did want to ask you about one more thing that I just saw. No, it's good. That happened, I think, just this week. It came out, and it is the potato calendar.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was proud of myself for that.
It was awesome. So tell the listeners a little bit about potato calendar.
Okay, so I'll give you some context first. So my work, we do a Secret Santa thing for our Christmas party every year. And I used to work in a place where the price limit was £10, right? And for £10, you couldn't get someone a good gift. You can do it. But what happens is someone will put a lot of effort in and buy something really thoughtful for someone, and then they'll get a really shitty gift in return and they'll be upset by it. So when I organise the Christmas party and I'm like, I want to do low price limit. So we do a £3 price limit, right? Okay. Because if whatever you do for £3, it doesn't matter if it's bad. You expect a bad gift for £3. It's fine.
Right. Lowering the expectation. That's good.
Exactly. So 2 years ago, I started taking pictures of this guy I work with just around the office. Sometimes I'd see him in the street and I'd take pictures of him and he wouldn't know about it.
It's totally normal.
Yeah. And I got him for Secret Santa and I printed out all the pictures and I put them into a photo album and I wrote the lyrics to I'll Be Watching You by The Police throughout it.
Yeah.
So I was really proud of myself, obviously.
Great.
And then last year, one of my colleagues took the same pictures that I had taken. She got them off me and created a load of jewelry out of the pictures of the guy. And everyone thought it was me because it was my photos from the year before, but it wasn't, and she absolutely nailed it. But all that made me want to do is create more merchandise with his face on this year. You know?
I mean, great job by her, right? Like you did the legwork. Oh, yeah, it was already there.
Crushed it. And it made me look a weirdo as well because everyone just assumed it must have been me again. And that year it wasn't. But this year I had this picture of him holding a potato, and we don't need to know why he was holding it. It's irrelevant, but he had it. And I sent it out to some people on Twitter. I asked people if they would, if they wanted to help me and do a drawing of something for me. And I got 11 people and myself to draw an interpretation of that photo. And I turned it into a 2019 calendar. And it wasn't for him, it was for someone else. But I think in some ways that made it better.
That is so interesting. I did not know that. I did not know that it was not for the potato guy himself.
Yeah, it's someone different. His wife apparently wants a copy of it now, though, so I've got to make more, which is...
Gotta make more. It's an industry now.
Exactly. I'm in the calendar business. If you guys have a picture of you or a friend holding a potato, hit me up. I know some artists. I've got the materials. It's fine.
Yeah, and the art was so cool to see everyone's interpretations of Man with Potato.
Honestly, some of them are so good. Like, obviously, Frovo is such a talented cartoonist, and Isabel Zorton is a fantastic
friend
artist.
Of the show.
Hebaclism did watercolors. He spent time doing a watercolor.
Local extraordinaire. Yeah.
Yeah, there was honestly some of the artwork was incredible, and some of it was awful.
But that's part of the fun too.
Did an awful drawing of him, but just put it on top of a background of just some new potatoes, and the laziness in it just made it perfect. And yeah, it was a real fun time doing it.
Yeah,
and it's been in the pipeline for a while, so I was excited to be able to thank people publicly and show it, because a few people from work know my
presence.
So I had to make sure they didn't see it.
Well, very cool. I just thought it would be fun to mention that on the show. So if anyone wants to go check that out, I think it's somewhere on your timeline. So maybe just Google potato, Tom, Trojan sauce potato.
Hit me up.
Yeah, and the calendar's at trojansauce.com.
Exactly.
All right. So let's get into these clips. Now, some of the clips are chosen by me, some of the clips chosen by you. But the fun part about it is that we get to talk about them all, and they're all friends of the show. So the first clip is at Rocky Momax. I'm talking about Rob Elliott. This guy. You've talked to him. Again. You've had him on your pod. I've had him on my pod. He's a pod guy. It was fun.
He's a good guy. I love Rob. I've shared a sofa with Rob. I've shared several drinks with Rob.
Yeah,
had a good time. He's a fun giant idiot.
Yeah, he looks like he would be a lot of fun to hang out with.
You could say he looks like a giant.
I don't know I don't know how much fun it would be to share a sofa. Like if it was a sleeping situation, it would have to be a pretty big sofa.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, okay. I immediately pictured you guys spooning on a sofa. All right, so he's the first clip. So let's just listen and then we'll chat.
I fell out of my lifeguard tower and I smashed my face right around that time. Maybe it was August of 2016. I stood up. It was like 150 degrees. I stood up. I got lightheaded and I fell over onto my face. And like from like 6 feet up, like onto my face. And I'm 6'2", like 240 pounds, and I went down on my face and smashed my whole face to bits. And Tom decided, hey, was I not supposed to say it's Tom? Fuck it, it's Tom. It's Tom that runs the account. I don't care if anybody knows. It's Tom. And he thinks it's absolutely hilarious, and I kind of agree with him. I hate to agree with him on anything, but it's really funny.
So it is Tom, our old pal, Trojan Sauce, running this account and making light of your horrible accident. So you ended up okay, right? Like, was it onto the sand or what?
The account's been around for a whole year. I can't believe that. And I like that I'm looking at it now. He even he made his own account called Runny Bat Comics. Oh my God. I'm looking at the account now because I have Bunny Rat that we do our own comic strip on Instagram, me and a friend. And he made Runny Bat Comics instead of Bunny Rat.
That little trickster. He's going deep. He's going all the way.
And he has it set that I live in Hollywood Beach, Florida, instead of Hollywood Beach.
Oh, my. It's the little touches that makes it so good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we should mention, if you want to hear more Tom and Rob chit-chat, you can check out Tom's podcast, Interested in Music. Episodes available now on Apple Podcasts. Well, wasn't that nice?
It was so good. Honestly, I love Rob, right? But that story of him falling out of his lifeguard tower is fucking hilarious. And like, he really smashed himself up, and he sent a snap of him. I think his wife had taken a picture of him like in the hospital in a neck brace, and his face is all beat up and he's all swollen and red, and he sent it to me, and I cut it out on Snapchat and made a load of memes out of it.
Oh my God. I mean, it's part of the Trojan Sauce brand, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's you only do it to the ones you love, right?
Yes, that's right. So you can take his horrific incident and turn it into, something to be enjoyed.
Exactly. You know what? Right. So after that, I started calling him Head Wound after he fell out of the tower. Right. And his son, Cameron, is such a cute little kid. But all I ever see of him, right, is Rob adores that boy. But the only time he ever sends me anything about Cam, it is Cam falling over. And
right.
He'll send me a video of Cam like just tripping over something, and it will just say Head Wound Jr. and that's it. It's so good.
Well, he comes by it honestly, right? I guess.
Exactly. It runs in the family. Shout out to Rob and the whole fam down there, surfing it up. Check him out on your local beaches and at Rocky Momax on Twitter. Very good. Man, that's funny. I forgot about that.
Lovely. Well, very good. Now, moving on, we got this next clip from someone we've already mentioned on this podcast. I'm talking about Isabel Zatun, and she is great. This was the first and only live episode recorded live at my house. She stopped by and we had a great chat. And it was so great to speak to her in person and to meet her. She's really great. So everyone's got to check her out at Isabelle Zotton online. Yeah, she's doing all the great stuff. She has a hilarious, great fashion comedy show, Hack Couture. And she does comedy around the city. And she does hilarious jokes online. And she's the best. Tom, you got to meet her.
I would love to. She's awesome. She's a really cool person, and I enjoy everything she does. You know, she's funny, she's smart, she's talented. I used to when I lived with my parents. I lived with my parents for a little while last year, and I would always take videos of my mum and like wind up my mum. And my mum always I don't know where it came from, but she started saying to me all the time, "I shall thump you," when she was cross at me. And Isabelle asked me one day if she could draw a picture of my mum saying she was going to thump me. And I was like, of course you can. And she drew this picture of my mum with her famous catchphrase. And I've got it on a hoodie here, which is awesome. So that's very cool.
That's amazing. And that's one of the benefits of knowing Isabelle. And yeah, so she's great, amazing artist. All of her drawings and art of all kinds is great. So truly a really great creative mind in Isabelle.
Her stand-up's really good as well, you know.
Oh, yeah. So very funny. And also, like you said, smart, like crazy, very, very smart. Like when I was speaking to her, I was just like, oh, she's like on another level above me here. Like I'm not really holding up my end of this podcast conversation. Just one of the best. So let's have a clip. Let's listen to a little clip of that aforementioned conversation with Isabelle Zotton.
For those of you who don't know, the Maple Leafs are the worst team.
They are doing okay this year.
They're not going to do it.
Historically, they're the worst team.
They're cursed.
They're cursed.
They're literally cursed. Do you know the story of the Maple Leafs curse?
Is it the Bill Barilko disappeared?
Yeah. And then, no, there's two. There's that one where Bill Barilko disappeared. And then they found the helicopter crashed in the northern woods, but they didn't find his body. And his sister still thinks that he's out there somewhere. It's crazy.
So he's out there putting the hex on?
No, because then when they found the helicopter that he had been in... Okay, so those of you who don't know, Bill Barilko was like a hockey dude. And then he was on the Maple Leafs, and he was on that team the year they won the Stanley Cup. And then he was like, I'm going to celebrate Canadian style, go off into the woods and do some hunting. So he did that, but then he never came back. And then while he was missing, the Leafs did not win a Stanley Cup until the year they found the helicopter. Maybe it was a plane. The flying device that he'd been in was crashed. They found the body of the pilot, but not of Barilko. So his sister still thinks that he's out there. Let's let her believe what she wants. She's had a hard life. She has had a bad time. But the year that they found the plane, the Leafs won the Stanley Cup again. However, the coach, who had some sort of what was his name? Like Simlak? He had some sort of a... Imlach. I was so close. I'm really proud of myself.
That was very good.
And he had some sort of nickname that was like Throat Punch or something. Yeah.
Just Punch.
Punch Imlach. Punch Imlach.
Imlach. Great name.
Throat Punch would be a better... Well,
just, yeah, that's his kid.
Throat Punch Jr. So he was, for whatever reason, displeased with the way that the Leafs had played that year. And when one of the players went to renew his contract, he lowballed him on purpose because he was like, you may have scored the winning goal that won us the Stanley Cup, but you're still a piece of shit. And so the player refused to sign the contract, but then he was sued for breach of contract for not re-signing the contract. Wow. Listen, sports law is something that is clearly over my head. We're not going to go into it. But
the lawyers in here.
That player had to pay a certain amount of money because he was sued, and he said that until the day that he was paid that amount of money back with interest, the Leafs would never win a Stanley Cup. And you know how long ago that was? I think it was 60 years ago.
Plus years, yeah.
That story would have ended much stronger if I was like, and it was 65 years ago.
To
instead
this
of being
day,
like
65 years to the day. It was 65 years ago to this day.
That was quite the voice you put on there, man. That was the despicable character you were playing.
Sometimes I do a weird voice. When it's not you, I do a weirdo voice.
That story blows my mind, you know. I love weird, sports curses because you hear about them a lot, right? And that one is a good one. That's a good tale.
I mean, it's crazy, and it was immortalized in the Tragically Hip song, which I think we talked about in that podcast. So it's very cool. Yeah, and I mean, when weird stuff like that happens, you know, The Bermuda
Yeah,
Triangle.
I enjoyed it, and you know what really makes me laugh is I had to try and not laugh when I was just listening to it, but when she says, "I think it might have been a plane," whatever, the flying device,
Flying device is a great,
flying device. That's what they're called.
great Isabel save on that one. Yeah, so you could tell like how knowledgeable she was about this random trivia. So imagine her vast amount of knowledge that she has, and she's also great. Great like voice of reason when it comes to like conflict online and stuff. You know, I always love to hear her opinions on different complicated and challenging subjects of the modern age.
It's nice. Like, I think that she's someone who has lived an incredibly different life to one that I have, you know. And I mean, she spoke about it a lot on your episode, I think, when she was talking about kind of growing up where she did in kind of the middle of nowhere, Canada, and being a native person, and kind of some of the experiences she'd have. And it's really nice to be able to hear someone else's perspective who isn't like had the same life as me, you know.
Yes, and I think that's great, and we should all seek out these other perspectives and voices. I think we all have proven that people can do better, right?
Yeah.
We're all trying here, guys. We're trying.
Yeah, exactly.
So just
that's the great
put in
thing
the
about
effort.
being online, right? Is that you get the opportunity to connect with so many people that you would have never have ever have come into contact with.
Yeah, these people aren't walking down your street specifically.
Yeah, but they are online.
They're walking down the main street of the internet.
Neighborhood.
Yeah, and
The mean streets of online.
That's right. So yeah, Isabel, in summation, the best. Everyone got to go check her out, Isabel Zatun, on Twitter, and then you can find her Instagram and all that other stuff through that, I think. So
I
great.
mean, yeah, she shares stuff.
So let's keep moving on.
Let's do it.
This next,
quite a pace we're at.
we're at a good pace. You know, I think we're at a good pace. At a fine clip, a regular podcast clip. Listeners, how we doing? right into the pod and let us know if we were doing okay or if we should have slowed it down a little bit. All right. So this next clip is Eddie. I'm talking about at Flaccid
I hope this is what I
Umbrella.
think it is.
Flaccid Umbrella. What do you hope it is?
I hope it's he did an impression on the show,
Yeah.
and I think it was Walken.
Yeah, he did a Christopher Walken.
Because you know what, I didn't know Eddie when I listened to this episode, and I heard him do that impression, and I was walking my dog, and I had to stop. It was a freezing cold night. It was pitch black outside, and I had to stop in the street because I was laughing too hard at hearing him do that impression, and I followed him straight away. I was like, this guy. Holy shit, this guy. It was so funny. He just absolutely killed me. I had to listen over and over. It's so good.
Yeah, so everyone, if it's not in this clip, that's a great reason to go back and check out Eddie's episode at Flaccid Umbrella. You got to go check him out. All right, so I think we will play the clip.
Well, yeah, they're all pretty beautiful countries, really unique in their own ways, which is something I love about Africa. I mean, it's small countries all packed together, but you travel to one and you can immediately tell the difference from the one just next to it.
Oh, that's pretty neat. So very good national identities.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
What's
what's your favorite place you've traveled to within Africa?
Within Africa, I would have to say it's a close one between Zimbabwe and South Africa.
Right, okay. South Africa gets all the press.
Because, well, yeah, but I feel like it was different for me because I was in one of the smaller towns, not really well known, but there will always be a place in my heart for that place because I sort of made a second family when I was there.
Oh.
That's where I went to high school, and it was a boarding school, so I didn't have any of my family around. And when I got there, it was just they sort of immediately accepted me for who I am, and it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, Tom. It was pretty
cool.
Well,
It was pretty cool.
seems like I really dropped the ball on the clips here.
You know what? There was another thing I remembered about Eddie's, and it just reminded me because he was talking about Zimbabwe in that clip, and he spoke about how he was in a music video for I can't remember who even the artist was, but I remember him saying that he met like the international cricket player, the bowler, Henry Alonga, I think it was. And it was cool because no one ever talks about cricket online because everyone's too busy pretending they're cool.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Do not start. Let's not start now, Internet. Let's just leave it.
Hang on, here we go. It was nice because, like, I remember, right, so for those who don't know much about cricket, which I'm assuming is everyone who's not from
a heavy cricketing nation
who play it,
yeah.
It's like Zimbabwe turned up in the late 90s, starting to play, like, high-level cricket internationally, and they were shit, honestly, to begin with. But I had a few players who were like standouts, and Henry Alonga was like one of the fastest bowlers of all time. It was cool. And then Eddie talked about meeting him because he was in this video. So I looked up the video for the song at the time, and like, I don't really know what Eddie looks like. And he was a child at the time, but I was watching it like, yeah, I know someone who's in that.
Yeah.
As if it's like a claim to fame somehow.
That's so cool. Yeah, you know someone who met that great bowler.
Exactly.
Wow. 6 degrees of separation, Tom. That's all it takes.
Exactly. Me and Henry Alonga, just any minute now, he's coming around.
If you ever run into him, you have something to talk immediately.
Hey, this guy I know, Eddie.
He was in the video, remember?
Yeah,
you
do
remember?
Kid, right?
I would like to go to the special cricket finale party that you're going to right now with you.
That's what they call it. How did you know the name of the annual special cricket party?
I mean, it was a secret up until now, and I've blown it. The Cricketing Federation is going to be after me.
You know, did you ever see Eddie's tattoo he got?
No.
Fucking hell. You know Mark McGurk did that tweet that's like, sometimes it do be that way though.
Yeah.
And it's him looking down at his forearm tattoo that says, sometimes it do be that way though.
Yeah.
Eddie fucking got, sometimes it do be that way though, tattooed on his forearm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Eddie is for real.
Yeah. Eddie doesn't retweet. If Eddie likes your tweets, he gets them tattooed on his body.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eddie. And I guess shout out to Mark McGurk.
I mean, that is going above blowing up the Fave Star, right? That's too much.
The ultimate retweet.
Yeah. I remember Mark. I'm sure Mark would be able to say better than I can, but I feel like I remember having a conversation with Mark where he's like, I don't even really know Eddie that well. Which is even better.
Yeah, that is even better. Yeah.
So
no, Eddie's great. So, hey, he made the choice. It's great to get tattoos. You're a tattoo guy.
Yeah, I mean, I do it for appearances, you know.
You're a painted man. So what was your latest ink? Didn't you just recently get inked?
Last one I got was in August. I got a Tim Burton piece on the back of my arm. I tend to go once every few months. I get a bit antsy if I don't have one done. So I wanna get one again soon, but I'm not sure what to get yet.
Oh, okay. So. You don't have like a queue of
such a long list, honestly, and it's hard to know how to prioritize them.
Oh, so you do? There's just like a big like a whiteboard with ideas scrawled all over it, but you don't have anything organized specifically or any specific thoughts.
I think the one thing I would like to get sooner rather than later is do you know the band the Manic Street Preachers?
I know of them. They're like a 90s kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So they had a member in the band who wrote all the songs. I mean, we're getting distracted from the clip show here, but they had a member in the band who wrote all the songs and played rhythm guitar, but he couldn't actually play guitar, so usually he was on stage not plugged in. But he wrote all the songs, so they let him stay. And he was like, I really enjoyed the mythology around him because he just disappeared in like 1995 and he's never been seen since.
Oh, yeah.
Never found a body, nothing. And he's a really interesting character, and I find him really fascinating. And my friend who does my tattoos, we're good pals, and we were out having a beer one night talking about the Manic Street Preachers and Richie Edwards in particular. And he said to me, oh man, I've always wanted to do a portrait tattoo of Richie Edwards. And I was like, oh, I've always wanted to get a portrait tattoo of Richie Edwards. So we've been toing and froing on it for nearly 2 years now, and it will get done eventually. But it's quite scary to get a portrait tattoo, you know.
Why?
Because
it could be so. It could go wrong,
you know. But I believe in his art, so I think it'll be all right. But the thing that worries me is that he's been missing for like nearly 30 years. No, nearly like over 20 years, so 25 years nearly. And you know that the second he puts down that gun and finishes my tattoo, we'll hear on the radio, oh, he's been found and he's done something really weird.
Yeah, he got Me Too'd. He disappeared for 25 years and he still got Me Too'd. Ooh, that's tough.
Or, something, I don't know. I just don't want to have someone on me who might turn out to be a weirdo. And I feel all right because he's been almost definitely dead for a really long time.
Yeah.
But until you get that official confirmation, you never know. He might be out there putting milk on his tea first,
Oh, the ultimate sin.
Yeah. There's me going on at the beginning. I don't like it when you categorise us with tea. And
then immediately your first reference is a tea-based reference. All right. Well, very cool. And so, in case I didn't mention, everyone should follow Eddie at Flaccid Umbrella on Twitter.
He come back too. He had such a long break from being online, and he's recently back. And
he's back, baby.
His tweets are good. He's a good guy. I like him.
Tweets are good. He's a good guy. And I think I talked about it in the podcast too. His Instagram is great. It's monochrome. With the K, it's great. All of his photos are black and white, and it's like life living in Africa, and it's so great. So you got to check it out. Check out Eddie; he's the best. All right, moving on.
His episode was really good as well. Just to say, his episode was really good because he's someone who's got such an interesting life story.
Yeah, it was so great. He was the first African friends of the show. So yeah, you got to check that episode out. It was delightful talking to him.
Yeah.
All right, the next clip comes to us from Nick. I'm talking at One Trick to Funny, and it's Nick on Twitter. Again, another great artist, another great funny online guy, mixing it up out there. Nick.
I do. Yeah, he's been a guest on my podcast as well. I've bought a number of T-shirts from Nick over the last couple of years. His art is fantastic, and He's got one of the best music tastes of anyone I know. Like, if he tells me a band or an artist, then I can almost guarantee I'm going to like it. He's really good at that. He's just someone who he picks up on stuff early. I think he hears bands before anyone else does somehow. And he's cool.
Got an ear to the ground.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I'll be like, hey Nick, have you heard of this band? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like
3 years ago.
Yeah, I already liked them and then stopped liking them, and now I like this new band.
Yeah, exactly. He's a cool guy, and I really like Nick. I've got a lot of time for him, and he's funny because he's a salty boy online.
He's very salty.
He's always getting ruckuses.
He's getting in ruck. He's not afraid to ruffle feathers online, much like yourself. To a similar degree, he's not afraid to say what he thinks about certain potentially controversial subjects. He takes stances, hot takes. He's got it all. Plus the art. You got to check him out. Yes. I also have a couple of his shirts from the shop. You got to go check it out. I think you can check it out from his bio at One Trick to Funny on Twitter. And this is the clip that I have picked.
I like this podcast. I will give you kudos for it because this is very cool that you just bring people on from Twitter to actually get to know them and talk to them and have other people get to know them more. And what type of people they are,
Well, thank you, Nick. And that is exactly the goal. Hopefully everyone listening realizes that Nick is a nice guy.
I'm not.
In real life, not One Trick to Funny, right? That is completely...
Yeah, no, that's my brand is mean.
Mean brand. Yeah, we've had people with mean brands on the show, like Tom, Trojan Sauce. He is mean online, but he's nice in real life. So that those people exist,
They're not real people.
Yeah, all the millions of mean people online, some of them are actually nice.
Some of them. You would be surprised. You just have to get to know people.
you just have to have them on your podcast, and then one at a time, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, you have to give everybody a chance with the stuff they say, but if someone's just really passionate about something and you just think it's goofy or silly, as long as it's not hurting anyone, just give them a chance,
Yes.
It's not doing any harm.
Yeah, agreed.
Everyone's got their own thing, but if it's racist or really offensive, then screw that person.
Yeah, but right? If it's just liking a very specific kind of Mountain Dew, maybe just leave it alone.
Strange.
Just leave it alone.
Strange.
Yeah.
But when we found out why he likes that Mountain Dew so much, it was a beautiful thing. It was really sweet.
It was really sweet. What he's alluding to, of course, is a funny story that he told on the podcast. So you got to go check out his episode.
That was a good tease you did there.
Right? Yeah, so that was a good tease. I hope everyone goes and checks out that episode with Nick because there's a lot of great chat in there. It was so great talking to him. I was like wired after because I was like, oh, this is just such a great chat after talking to him. I think I stayed up a little later than I should because I was just so amped up after talking to Nick. One of my faves, so I had to get the clip on. And everyone's got to go check him out and maybe buy a T-shirt, right? Support that guy.
Yeah, 100% support that guy. His art is incredible, and he's such a I think the thing is with Nick, right, is I think you look at his Twitter and you think, oh boy, this guy's ready for a fight all the time. But he's a really patient person, I think, when you get to know him, and he's very articulate and he's got a lot of interesting opinions and always enjoys a discussion around things. And like he said in the clip, it's if someone's doing something he doesn't like, but it's not hurting anyone, then he won't say anything. He only gets on his causes when they're worthwhile. And to be fair to him, I back him on most of them.
Yeah. So if you're looking to support someone in online feuds, go check out and see go check out, see what feud he's in. Maybe go block some people online. He'll tell you who some bad people are.
He will tell you.
He'll tell you. He's not afraid. So, yeah, he'll tell you who to unfollow, who he should be unfollowing. Yeah, not something that I normally like to get involved with, but Nick is definitely not afraid to do that. And you know what? Kudos to him for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Nick, I think, is that he says a lot of stuff that I want to say a lot of the time. Like, it's I do the mean thing, but it's like, I very rarely am standing up to something that I don't like, you know, and I wish I was a bit more like that. He's I've seen Nick very passionately go after injustices in the community, like plagiarism and things like that, when it's warranted, and when it's not, he'll have a quiet word with people and say, like, hey, just so you know, this is like what people have said or what people have seen or whatever, so just heads up. But people who are persistent, he'll tell them, and I think it's good. It's good to have someone who's like brave enough to say it when we're all thinking it,
Yeah. You know what, Tom? I agree. And that's the second clip I think that you got a shout out in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that more have shout outs to me.
Well, you are a frequently mentioned guest on the show. I have mentioned you several times, as the clips have shown, and also, like, I don't think there's any clips of me doing an impression of you, but it happened a lot on the show. Usually when you asked a question, and I would try to read it in your voice, and it was one of the more fun.
Everyone always tells me how good your impression of me is,
and you don't see it. I think like sometimes
voice sounds different in your head, doesn't it? So
yeah. Exactly, yeah. So I can't tell. I know that I at some points can kind of get close, like get a little bit of your like intonation. Like if you nail like a certain intonation, it sounds like I'm doing you in a good way. But really, yeah, it was very hit or miss. I found, but I love trying it.
And you just said I'm doing you in a good way. I'd have done so many emojis.
I hope no one
doing emojis with my face right.
I hope no one does a embarrassing supercut of all the innuendo I've said.
I hope they do. I think.
All right, fans, get on it. Yeah, we need more supercuts. All right, Tom. Now we're getting to the next clip, and this clip is markedly. I'm talking about Mark McGark.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
I love Mark.
A fellow podcast haver, although there haven't been any new episodes recently. There's a lot of great old episodes that listeners can go back and check out. I'm talking about Making Friends with Mark McGark. Check it out on iTunes.
I love that show. He and you started at the same time doing kind of a similar concept, but you tackle it in such different ways. And I think both kind of coming along at the same time, and a lot of guests being on both shows. It was really nice because I got like this really cool, rounded version of the people I know from online, and I've enjoyed both immensely, I would say.
Yeah, I have as well. And like you're saying, if you hear someone on this show, maybe they have been on Mark's show, and you can hear another episode, because these are Twitter people. Like, they might not be on that many podcasts yet, exactly. Right? But now they're getting on to more podcasts, and you got to go check them out. These are people you should know. Absolutely.
And I think Mark is it's interesting because Mark is such a kind and genuinely lovely person, right? And he's just, I don't know, he's such a kind and also as well funny and thoughtful person. And yet when I went on his podcast, he fucking just cut out about 3 minutes worth of time just to say swear words about me. Like, he just called me all sorts of names. I don't understand why he did it. I think he wants some rough and tumble on the internet.
Yeah, I think he does. I think that might be it. He might be too nice, and so he sort of seeks out some maybe faux confrontation with friends.
Yeah.
Do you think that's
Like,
what it is? If we're analyzing it,
I think it's the only people I've ever seen him fight with are me on that podcast, and when he said online that he was going to punch the crap out of drugs if he saw him.
So just you and drugs,
Yeah,
on his hit list.
It's his fight. That's his two causes.
Yeah. No, he's done it. I think he did it to me, and I was just sort of shocked more than anything. I was like, I know this. He's joking, or is he? I don't know.
Is he joking? Maybe,
that's because he's so nice and he's so genuinely a good person that when he shows that side, like, he can just flick that switch, and all of a sudden, like, who is that?
I was shocked. I was appalled.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'd have known the number for the cops in America, I'd have called them, But 999, we don't have the jurisdiction over there.
Right, yeah, you have to dial, like, a lot of international codes, right, to dial internationally. You don't know the codes.
I know it's 911, and I know that. I mean, that's about it.
Right. You still dealing with long phone numbers over there? How long are your phone numbers? How many digits?
11 digits.
11?
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty normal.
You did the shock voice to begin with, but then, it's the same, I think.
It's the same, okay. I just think, when I see it, it's got a European extra code that I have to dial.
Oh, yeah. We're plus 44 over here.
Okay.
As well. So that takes, I guess, for an international call, you need to be dialing in that, whereas the States is like +1, I think.
Yeah, we're +1 over here in North America.
Are you plus is the whole of North America?
I think so. Well, we're 1. I'm like 1-905. The rest of my phone number.
I thought you were going to do the whole thing there. I was like, oh man.
Shoot me a text.
Really getting out there.
Yeah, shoot me a text. So, let's listen to this clip from Markedly.
We decided to do a game where we whipped out our phones, and instead of coming up with our own ideas to write things to each other, we decided let's use predictive text, which is that thing on your phone keyboard where if you start typing something, it'll make suggestions. And we found that even if you don't type anything, it'll still make suggestions for you. It'll just words will appear, and you can press them if you want to or not.
Yeah, you get
so
to
we were like,
choose.
Let's play a game, and let's enter each other's names, and then let's just press the predictive text options until a halfway coherent sentence comes up, and then we'll send it. And I'm going to give you some examples of what happened, but first, for anybody listening, I really strongly encourage you to try this, because the sentences that you come up with are so absurd that you can't help but laugh at them. And even more than that, your predictive text on your own phone kind of says something about who you are and, like, what are your most often used words and that kind of thing.
So, Big Brother, like your phone, it knows you.
Oh, it kind of knows you, but, like, it doesn't quite know how to speak for you. It's sort of like a weird robotic version of your own voice. So I was doing this with my friend. I couldn't stop laughing, and each entry was funnier than the last. I was crying. I was cramping up. I was sweating. I couldn't stop laughing. So I'm going to read you a couple of these, if that's okay.
Yes, hit it.
Okay, hold on. Do I have it open? All right. So, okay, this one's from, like I said, we typed in a person's name, and then we just made a sentence from predictive text. So the first one's from Jess. She says, Ash, why is your yelling so religious? Then she typed in my name. She says, Magark, my mama is a psycho lady. I don't know how to do it right now.
Wow.
Like what? That's like almost saying a thought, but just a little slight turn. It's not quite a real thought.
Just not quite a real thought, Tom. Just not quite a real thought.
Have you got your phone in front of you, Stephen?
Yeah, I have it here.
Do it now for Mark and see what happens.
Do it for Mark, okay? So, like, at Magark?
Just write Mark in your phone and see what happens. the predictive text, because I just did it, and mine said, "Mark was a great night with my dad today. I love him."
Okay.
And, you know, the sentiment is true.
Okay. Mine's not really making any sense.
Good. Too bad.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna morning is your day off the week before you guys get back.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I think I think a lot of my texting is where I'm going or where I'm coming from.
What I enjoy about that clip from Mark is I'm in that DM room. I think, well, I'm in a bunch of DM rooms that I have been over time with Mark and a bunch of those people, and I got to wake up because they do all this fun stuff when I'm asleep.
Right, yeah.
And I got to wake up and read back to this utter nonsense, absolute carnage in there. And yeah, they had the best time of their lives. And reading it back, I don't know what was going on. I think there was something in the water that day over in North America, because those guys, oh boy, they enjoyed themselves.
And you missed out. You had to catch up after the fact. Don't you hate that?
I always miss out, man. It's part of the problem. This is why I need to move continent.
Yeah, then you go to the opposite side. So, yeah, we're over here. I'm over here on east side of North America. But you're thinking west side. That's a whole another 3-hour difference. So the difference between England and me is one thing. But then add 3 more hours to that. You got quite a swing.
Exactly. But this is the thing, right, is at the moment I can tell when everyone's waking up throughout the day. Like, it'll be around about midday for me. You know, I'll get my Mark McGurks and my Masons and my Jess OK Fines popping up in my DM rooms, and then give it another couple of hours and I've got my Tragic Alley here and I've got my Adult Mum coming in. And then you get to the end of the day and you've got House Feminist, you've got Professor Hinckley, and all of a sudden these people are rolling in, and you can tell when I should go to bed because everyone's around, and that's when it gets fun.
Yeah, so you gotta leave right when everyone is at the party.
Exactly.
You gotta get to bed because it's too late, and you gotta get started on that next day.
Exactly. This in the future here is tough.
Yeah, you're in the future, so you're late at night, and I'm here in the night, in the beautiful afternoon times. So
exactly, it's rough. I mean, it's weird to think it. It's dark here now. It's the night time, and then there's other people out there just starting their days.
There's people at a beach right now, Tom.
I know. What a world. Rob's probably at a beach right now.
It's insane. If you're at a beach, if you're listening at a beach right now, hit us up on FOTS Pod. Let us know. Send us a snap. Do the hot dog thing. Is it my legs or is it hot dogs?
I'm going to guess right now. It's definitely their legs.
Good guess. They would not go to the beach with hot dogs just to listen. They probably...
No one's hearing this and going, shit, get me some hot dogs.
We got to get the hot dogs. We're going to stage this. We're getting to the beach.
Exactly. If you really want to trick me, put your legs in a bun, you coward.
You cowards. Listeners, you're a bunch of cowards. All right, well, what a nice clip of Markedly. I think that gives a nice taste, and you got to go check out his podcast. You got to go check him out online. He's had many of my favorite tweets posted, and he continues to be a great guy.
I said to him the other day, you know that tweet he did where it's like, I can't remember how he words it, but it's basically like he goes onto Google and he starts to type in Facebook, and he typed it wrong one time, like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like Factbook or something, and then Google's like, hey, do you want to go to Factbook, you stupid idiot? It's honestly, it's like one of my favorite tweets ever. I think it might be my favorite tweet. It's every time I think of it, when I because every time I go in my search bar, right, I start typing something and it will tell me something idiotic that I typed by mistake a long time ago, and I just think, oh, Mark McGurk, you genius.
He's a genius. Everyone's got to go check out his hilarious geniosity on his timeline. He's got great jokes, fun stuff. His hilarious thing I saw this week that was from earlier. It was his masterclass of tweeting.
Oh my god!
His
yeah,
video, so good. Like
wild.
A send up of those masterclass videos that you see the ads for Masterclass, and it's McGark teaches tweeting. And the example is one of my favorites of his, where it's he slips the DJ $20 to turn it down a scooch. And you got to watch the trailer, folks, but in the trailer he's like, a scooch, and he like turns to camera, he takes the camera. It's great, so you got to go check him out.
It's very good. And Mark is such a good guy as well, and he's so friendly and welcoming, and everyone I feel like some people are a bit intimidated by talking to kind of the larger accounts sometimes, you know, and if there's one guy not to be intimidated by, like, for a conversation, it's Mark, because he is a very kind and friendly person.
He's a kind and sweet-natured soul living in the mean streets of New York. I just kept saying
friendly over and over. Sweet-natured soul.
He's a sweet-natured soul. So all right, so this next clip comes from maybe not a sweet-natured soul. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
It's Mike Bigby. Oh, no.
Oh, I'm hanging up.
Oh, we've got bristling. We've got bristling. All right, this is exactly what I wanted. All right, so tell us about your contentious relationship with Mike Bigby.
Oh, Mike goddamn Bigby. That's what I call him. In my house, we call him Mike goddamn Bigby. And if anyone ever doesn't mention the goddamn in the middle, then is hell to pay. Mike is a swine. He's a scoundrel. Think of a bad word, Stephen, because he's that.
He's nefarious.
Yeah, he's that as well. Oh, god damn it, that guy.
He's a trickster. He's
a goddamn prankster.
He's a prankster, yeah.
He's there to ruffle. Sometimes I feel like just my feathers.
You feel singled out here?
Sometimes, you know.
I think he just does it in such a way that it can feel very personal, even though it's a very broad, I don't even know what to call it, satirical take on bullying. I don't know what it is. It's just a different way of being online.
His account, honestly, every single day, he makes me die with laughter. And it annoys me so much because I'm like, why am I laughing at this? How is he getting me every time still? The other week when he was doing, did you see when he was doing all the videos and everything about Follow Friday?
Oh, no, I did not see that.
He was doing the entire week. He was like, can't wait. There's only 5 more days until Follow Friday. And then he was like tweeting, all he did all week was just about Follow Friday. And then it was a Thursday and he's like doing a video of himself. He's like, hey guys, I'm about to go to bed. Can't wait to wake up tomorrow for Follow Friday. And then you never guess what? There were no tweets from Mike all day on the Friday. And on the Saturday morning, there was a tweet saying, oh no. Oh no, I've been asleep.
He did it.
It was one of the funniest things. It was such a good performance piece.
It's a good bit.
It's a real good bit. But also, if anyone deserves to miss Follow Friday, it's him. He's my enemy. And that's not going to change just because he made me laugh.
Yeah, and I think the only one really impacted by that would be Mike Bigby, because I'm pretty sure his Follow Fridays are always Follow Friday Mike Bigby.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've ever seen him do a non-Mike Bigby Follow Friday.
He's very funny. I like Mike a lot, except from, obviously...
Except when you don't like him. Yeah, which, you know, it comes and goes. And that's
nothing's like everyone else. I've got to say it about him too.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. He's a pain in the arse.
Pain in the A-R-S-E, am I right?
Yeah, damn right you are.
Okay, well, without further ado, let's listen to this clip from Mike Bigby.
Yeah, this is another one that I really like, although Tom and I are... We have a bit of a love-hate relationship, let's put it that way.
That's what I was trying to get at. He's not an enemy of the show. He's very much a friend of the show. But you have a little bit of a thing going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of sexual tension, a lot of unresolved drama, and, you know, it's just one of those things. Eventually we'll get together and we'll thrash it out. But in the meantime, here's the tweet. Stage direction, phone sex. Her. Tell me what you'd do with me. Me. Loudly chewing a bagel. I don't know, probably sex.
So classic Tom, just is so indifferent. That was you, Tom.
Yeah, your beard is striking.
Would you say it's one of the more striking parts of your appearance?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I've got a pretty plain face underneath, so and there's not much going on.
Spicing it up with the beard.
I think my belly is probably one of the most striking. The body part I do most of my striking with when people first see me. But yeah, beard's up there definitely.
The chat about the beard is so
is
strange.
Up there, definitely. So that was Mike Bigby. And check off the Tom mention on the show. Click. Yeah, so another great Tom mention.
I was very flattered that he picked that, because, I understand why he did. It's really good. But,
it's a good tweet.
Yeah, but he got me. He got me.
You got you good.
Guy, he gets me right in the soft spots. He's, the Mike episode was it was good because it was in this period of time when you were trying to play us off against each other, like as a running team. And also, am I right in thinking that the Mike episode was the one where you did improv skits at the end?
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one episode. If you're a hardcore friend of the show listener, you'll know that we verged from format to do this bit that Mike suggested, where we do improv bits that were other podcasts. So, that one hurt my face because I was laughing too much during that.
It was so dumb. It was so funny, but it was funny. And so bad as well. It was perfect.
It was because he would not commit. The one thing you got to do is just commit. And he kept dropping out. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry for suggesting improv when I'm obviously terrible at improv." You know what? I think it was still fun. I think the listeners had fun.
I had a lot of fun listening to it, honestly. It was so good. And again, what I think is great about this show is you don't need to know the person to enjoy it. It helps sometimes. It's fun to hear your friends talking, but it's nice to get to know someone who you don't necessarily know that well. And it can, even if you don't know Mike or Eddie or Mark or Isabel, they're great guests to go back and listen to because you really get to know someone and you then kind of read their tweets and stuff in a different way as well.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you get to hear their voice come through a little bit clearer because you can sort of hear it in their actual voice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what their voice sounds like, and that's a big part of it. Yeah, good point. Good point, Tom.
Yeah, thanks. I'll make some of them.
Yeah. Now, just trying something here. Let's see if this will work.
Holy shit, are you doing what I think you're doing?
It's just... Oh, you can see...
Yeah, it's just come up on my screen saying you're trying to add Mike goddamn Bigby to the call.
It's a little bit of a surprise, but I don't think it's... I don't think it's going to work. I've sent him messages. It looks like he's non-responsive, but... surprise spoiled. I failed.
My heart...
Hard fail.
Racing.
Let's just let it keep ringing, and then maybe one day, maybe he'll pick up before the end of the pod.
This is how I feel about Mike, right? Is the first thing I did, the second I saw his name flash up on the screen, I looked around me for what's the closest weapon I have to get him through the screen.
He's coming to get you. All right. Well, that was a bit of a dud, but maybe before the end of the show, he'll pick up. Now, the next clip, let's just keep it going. It's Brandon. You know Brandon. He spells his name with an A.
Oh, God, him.
I'm talking about at Le Bear Girdle. And yeah, Brandon's great. He was so fun to talk to. He had a great story about eating. There was a couple of stories about eating competitions, and Brandon had a great one. So that's what this clip's going to be. So let's listen into that. And the next question comes to us from friend of the show, Tom at Trojan Sauce. Uh-oh. And he asked 2 questions. If you had to switch the A in your name for a different vowel, what would it be?
That's a great Tom accent.
No, thank you.
If I had to switch the A's in my name, there are 2, which I'm sure we were going to get to a little bit later. But if I had to switch them to anything, I would probably switch them to Y's, which are sometimes a vowel.
Oh, yeah, sometimes. Well,
I would make both of them Y's. So that way my name would be all kind of consonants and also sort of vowels. And you pronounce it kind of weird.
Yeah, how would you pronounce that? That would sort of be...
Like, Brendan.
Yeah, it would be like you could move to Wales and just fit right in,
Yeah.
no problem. You'll be like, oh, yeah, nothing weird about that name.
And I get about 3 wings down. And at this point, my insides are like a volcano. And they keep bringing me that sweet, sweet milk.
Okay, how much milk
it
per
turns
wing
out,
are you drinking?
I probably drank throughout the thing almost a half-gallon of milk.
Wow, that's a lot.
But at a certain point, it doesn't do anything. And your mouth is essentially just numbed. So I finally get to the 6th and final wing, and I'm eating it, and I want to give up. I want to give up, but I can't. I have to persevere. And the table of 50 to 60-year-olds, I think, I don't know, somewhere around there, they cheer for me.
Yes.
They get up, and they clap. And I'm like, no, I can't give up. I down another glass of milk. At this point, I'm just full. I'm just full of milk and spicy goodness.
You're all sweaty and...
I'm sweaty. There's just snot everywhere. I'm just a real mess. So I down the final wing. And I run to the bathroom, and I put my head under the sink for about the next 5 minutes.
For about the next 5 minutes. And about
For
5
about
minutes.
the next 5 minutes. God damn.
That's about all you need. So, shout out to Brandon, and also happy birthday. At the time of this recording, it is his birthday.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Happy birthday from one of us here at Friends of the Show.
I will wish him a happy birthday when he spells his name right. Okay?
Right. It's not really his. I think we talk about it on the show, so everyone got to go listen, obviously. But, yeah, so he spells his name with an A, and he did not choose that. We don't choose our own names, Tom, right?
We choose them every day by accepting them, Stephen.
I guess that's true. You know what?
Yeah.
I take it back. Brandon, your name's wrong.
Yeah, tell him. Get that guy.
No, don't get him. Actually, get him more followers by following him on Twitter.com. I'm talking at LeBearGirdle. You gotta go check him
Unfollow
out.
Someone called Brandon, who spells it with an O. Unfollow Brandon and go follow a Brandon. That's what the world needs. We don't need more Brandans.
Yeah, I mean, intername cliques is a very hot button issue currently.
This oh god, it grinds my gears.
I
just
hear
thinking
getting
about his
worked
name.
up. I know you're getting
It's
real
fucking-
worked up. Yeah. And before we get too worked up, let's keep it moving. Get to the next clip, and it is from our friend. Oh wait, it's the last clip. Guys, it's the last clip, and it is from our friend at Steve versus Ninjas. What a good guy. Then this was a very fun talk. He told great stories. I think this is a story about his climbing, and I think we talk about his dog. And here's the clip from Steve versus Ninjas.
My dog. Oh my gosh, she's a great dog.
All right.
Her name is Sadie.
Sadie, here we go. Dog chat begins. What kind of dog?
The Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Oh.
My wife read about this breed. We were trying to figure out what to get. And I've always liked bigger dogs. I've always liked retrievers and stuff. My family all had golden retrievers, and my brothers did, and just love those dogs. And she's like, we can't get a dog that's that big. So she said, what's kind of a sporting dog, but very small? And she settled on that breed. And when I met him, oh my gosh, we went up to this place where there's a breeder up in Washington, and these dogs are so great. There was like a dozen of them at her fence, and they're all just wagging their tails, and they're not even barking.
Ooh, that's
so they're
cute.
just so cute and nice dogs. Yeah. I have fun teaching her tricks and stuff. She's very trainable. So she does a figure eight around my legs, or she'll jump through a hoop, or just do lots of fun stuff.
Beep, beep, beep.
And so we climb up the rope. We do that okay. And then Glenn has to climb up to where the rope got stuck. And so for that, he changes into his climbing shoes. And while he's doing that, he drops one of his climbing shoes.
Oh, no, Glenn.
So that falls 100 feet down to the deck. And now we're like, oh, well. So he climbs it in one hiking boot and one climbing shoe. And it's this really hard climb. And I'm like, oh, don't fall, because this is not. And sometimes when you're clipped in, you're real confident, and you feel like your protection's really good. And in this case, I was like, this is not good. Do not fall. Do not fall. But he managed to free up our other rope and get down, and everything worked out okay, and nobody died. So,
Nobody died. You know what? That's how I love a story to end.
There's two things I have to say about that clip, right?
Okay.
Is when you said, "Oh no, Glenn," in the middle after he lost his shoe. That kills me. That's so funny to me hearing you say that. But also, dog chat generally. Who's not going to enjoy dog chat? You got to go listen to that episode now.
You got to listen to the episode for the rest of Dog Chat. He gives more details, and you really find out about Glenn and why I gasped so audibly when Glenn did what he did.
It's honestly I've enjoyed listening back to these clips because there's so much that I've listened to. I think every episode now, but it's been a while since you were kind of doing a lot of them regularly. You know,
yeah.
So it's nice to hear some of these classics back.
These are classics, and you can go back and listen to these and more episodes. All the episodes available, I'm pretty sure, on iTunes and at www.stephenwskinner.com for all the old episodes. Yeah, they're all out there. So go and listen. Yeah, just pick one at random or at specific from what you've heard today.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. Well, you know what? I think we've done it, mate.
I think we might have done. I think we may have done it.
Can you believe I did not slip into English accent but once, and it was only on the non-recorded part?
I'm really impressed with you, honestly.
It was.
I'm really proud of you.
It's because it slipped out. I think it was best that it slipped out right immediately when I said hello to you. I was like, oh no, I got to walk this back. I don't want to do the whole show in a fake British accent.
I feel like it wouldn't shock me to know that you will re-record all of your own parts just in a British accent and edit it all together once I'm off the phone.
Tom, I might do.
Just Christ, here we go.
Tom, thank you so much for joining me.
Before I go, hear my New York accent.
Yes, actually, I was gonna ask if you had a North American / New York / Pacific accent to do.
Well, it's the one I've got, right? And I kept doing it when I was staying with Keith and Jess recently, and all I can say is it's a one sentence,
right?
But it goes. Hey, it's me, little Petey Spider-Man.
Okay. Is that a reference of the Into the Spider-Verse?
It wasn't then, but now it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm ahead of the curve.
Right. Great. Well, that was good. Tom, you know what? I could only detect mere in a little tiny inflection of Britishness.
No, I'm sorry, what? You said it wasn't perfect?
I'm going to say it was like 91%. But I have a keen ear, Tom. I have a keen ear for accents. You want to give it a go again? Apparently, a southern accent is very easier for English people to do. I've heard that like English actors really do a great southern voice. You got a southern voice?
I don't think I have. You know, I'm really bad with accents, and I think it's because I think the issue is I really want to think I'm really cool. And I feel like if I hear myself doing a bad accent, it makes me think, oh man, you're not as cool as you really want to believe you are.
Oh, yeah. I can see how that'd be the case. All right, so, no accents. But maybe work on that New York one a little bit.
I'll try. Yeah. What can I say? What do they say in the South?
Oh, I don't know. What do they say? Oh, Lord, it's hot today.
Right, okay. Here we go. Oh, Lord, it's hot today.
Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, that works.
Cool. There we go.
If you're a person from the South, please let us know how Tom's accent was at FOTS Pod on Twitter.
When I eventually go for my interviews to get a visa.
Do not do that voice.
I'm gonna. That's all I'll be able to say. But I'll say it.
Look, I'll be able to fit in. Check this out. I'm walking here.
I am walking.
I'm walking here.
I'm walking now.
And then, boom, rubber stamp. Welcome to America.
Buddy, you're already home.
You're already home. Tom, thank you so much for being my co-host today on this hilarious and great time Friends of the Show Clip Show finale recap episode, Best of Spectacular. And now let's start to say our goodbyes.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for inviting me. This has been fun, and I feel that this officially makes you one of the best 4 guests.
I think so. I think you're locked in. Well, you're definitely the top 4 repeat guests.
Oh, well, top 4 all guests.
Yeah, or of all time.
Also, as well, just before the music ends, is happy birthday, Brandon.
Oh, that's sweet. He came through right at the end.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, no, it was a psycho. Just for the listeners, this is the theme music for Tom's podcast, but it's a live version.
Check out Adam Green. He's a good fun time guy.
Yep, so the song is Adam Green, Interested in Music. This is performed live at La Gaieté Lyrique en Paris. So shout out to Olive Toulouse, who has uploaded this video, and shout out to all the listeners for listening to this great episode with Tom. And I hope you like all the clips, and I hope you go back and listen to some of the old episodes in Tom's podcast and Mark's podcast. And that's it. Thanks for listening. So
blowing kisses to the audience.
He's blowing kisses. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye. Catch you next time.
Bye, guests.
Bye, guests. See you online.
Bye, listeners.
Follow at Trojan Sauce.
Follow at Steven Skinner.
That's not correct.
Follow at Skinny Steve.
Thank you.